penny-pinching Chancellor of the Exchequer pilots two laws through England's Parliament. First, the Sugar Act.
For improving the revenue of this kingdom, a duty of threepence a gallon shall be imposed on foreign molasses and on refined sugar.
That's not just another tax. By taxing molasses from which rum is made, Grenville threatens New England with ruin, strikes a blow at the economic foundations of the Middle Atlantic colonies, and at the same time opens the way for British West Indians to get rich at the expense of the American colonials. Then in 1765, another Grenville law, the Stamp Act.
To secure revenues toward the expense of defending, protecting, and securing the colonies, stamps sold by His Majesty's government must be affixed to all deeds, mortgages, inventories, college diplomas, playing cards, pamphlets, newspapers, and calendars.
Just how bad is that? Is it something to get excited about? What do the colonists think of it? They cluster in drawing rooms and taverns and on street corners and on the town commons in Massachusetts, in Virginia, in Rhode Island, and South Carolina. Farmers, merchants, printers, mechanics, planters, the crowds gather.
Quiet! Quiet! I have something to say. I'll tell you what this Stamp Act is. A hateful project to transfer the whole property of the king's subjects in America to his subjects in Great Britain.
Take your ease, Thomas Todd. It ain't no such thing.
You defend the Stamp Act, friend? Then tell us how.
I ain't defending no one. I'm saying Thomas Todd is a hothead, and this Stamp Act ain't no more serious than a fly on a horse's rump. I heard a lawyer say today that all it meant was 1 shilling per man in all these colonies for a whole year. Now, that's but a third of an honest day's work, and it won't hurt none of you to pay it.
Aye, my friend. But by the same power by which England can make us pay 1 shilling, in time they can make us pay our last shilling.
We are Englishmen. We must let the Parliament lay what burdens they please on us. It is our duty to patiently bear them till they shall be pleased to relieve us.
Then why don't they tax themselves, too? Why must we colonists be the only ones?
There's a man with brains in his skull.
Brains? Is it brains to speak disloyally of king and country? Is it brains to utter treason?
Call it what you will, friend. I tell you that the Stamp Act not only threatens to fleece us of our money, it does something worse than that.
Nothing could be worse than that for you, Thomas Todd.
Make your jibes and have your jokes. But remember, I warn you now that this Stamp Act threatens more than our money. It threatens our liberty.
Big words, friend. Explain yourself.
Answer me now. Who is being taxed?
We are.
And who asked us if we wanted to be taxed? Eh? Who asked us? No one asked us, that's who. And tell me this now. Who passed this Stamp Act that taxes our money? The British Parliament did. And is there anyone in the British Parliament to stand up for us and say our say for us there? There is not. Are we properly represented in our own government? No! So what have we got? I'll tell you. Taxation without representation. And for one, I won't stand for it. We've got to protest. Is that right? We've got to protest! Protest! Protest!
Protest, they say. Is that revolution? Not yet, but closer, always closer. The colonists refuse to buy British. Patriots swear they will fight up to their knees in blood against the Stamp Act. Hatred surges into riot. Crown officers and stamp masters are chased through back alleys of America and hanged in effigy. But it is not yet revolution. And in 1766, as the American boycott takes effect and British merchants look to their pockets, Parliament repeals the obnoxious Stamp Act. A clerk in the British Treasury Office makes a notation.
Debit, 631 pounds 9 shillings, representing administration and printing expenses for revenue stamps unused.
The Stamp Act is gone. The British are making concessions. The British are appeasing the colonists. But the seeds of revolution are still there. Each man with a grievance is one more such seed. Each man like this merchant.
At first, I didn't complain about the navigation acts that forced me to trade with Britain and Britain only. You could always get around them with a little smuggling. But now, Grenville has clamped down on smuggling. He has made paper money illegal and tried to drain us of hard money. I wonder now, why should our trade be restricted? Why should I let a British merchant profit from my work?
Each man with a grievance is a seed of revolution.
I'd like to have been an iron worker like my father. But in 1750, Britain prohibited erection of any new mills in the colonies. So I can't get the job I want.
Each man with a grievance, one more seed.
Parliament is restricting our trade and ruining our manufacturing. And now the last straw, they're robbing us of our political liberty. I say that all men have a natural right to life, liberty, and property.
Each man, one more seed.
To me, the absurdity of absurdities is that these paltry fellows who have jockeyed, fought, and pandered their ways in the House of Commons should regard themselves as representatives of Virginians or Pennsylvanians whom they have never seen. And our taxes support them.
In that discontent, there is enough ill will and enough malice to start a fight. But it takes two to make a fight. Where American colonies grumble their grievances against the British protest against the colonies. For every American who said no taxation without representation, there was an Englishman who said,
"A country which we cannot tax is a country not subject to us. You colonials are English subjects. It is therefore perfectly within the rights and duties of Parliament to demand taxes from you."
For every American who complained of a domineering British Parliament, there was an Englishman who said,
"The supremacy of the British legislator must be complete, entire, and unconditional. To allow otherwise would weaken us all, including the colonies."
For every American who called upon the principle of natural law and natural rights to defend his views, there was an Englishman who said,
"An American rioter and rebel thinks he has a right to defraud the customs, to perjure himself at the customs house, to tar and feather government customs officers. But the laws of nature, which give these surprising rights to American rioters, give no such right to the king's officers to strike back."
For every American who cursed the British and shouted for blood, there was an Englishman who said,
"Patriots, sons of liberty, poppycock, merely a few self-seeking rabble-rousers. Catch and hang those few and all will be quiet over there."
Is it revolution then? Not yet. Not just yet. But gradually, year by year, the kindling is piled higher.